Hello and welcome to Might Be Awesome. My name is Sam Basher.
And I'm DJ Wooldridge.
And today we're going to be diving headfirst into Godzilla King of the Monsters, the third installation into the Monster Connected universe over at Legendary Pictures and Warner Brothers. Now, this film is directed by Michael Dougherty, and the screenplay credits go to Michael Dougherty and Zach Shields, and this stars Millie Bobby Brown, you have Vera Farmiga, Chandler, Ken Watanabe, Tomas Middleditch, Ziyi Zhang, and basically any other actor that wasn't in, like, Fantastic Beasts or what have you. It's basically they got everybody else. In this movie, here's your quickie synopsis from IMDb that I didn't read ahead of time. The crypto-zoological agency Monarch faces off against a battery of god-sized monsters, including the mighty Godzilla, who collides with Mothra, Rodan, and his ultimate nemesis, the three-headed King Ghidorah.
That's pretty on point.
Yeah. And now the movie comes out this Friday.
Yeah.
Which is the 31st. There you go, for May. And currently on Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting at an even 42% with a consensus of 5.2 out of 10.
Yeah, and the summary on Rotten Tomatoes is Godzilla King of the Monsters delivers spectacular kaiju action and, reaffirms the cutting-edge effects are still no substitute for a good story.
I wonder who... I appreciate that.
I don't know who does the Rotten Tomatoes summaries.
We should bring him on.
Yeah.
Because that's a pretty concise way of... That is how I felt leaving this movie.
Yeah.
But I will say...
Yes.
That out of the three movies we've got from this franchise
which are Catch-Up Godzilla from 2014, and Kong Skull Island.
2017.
Okay.
Sounds about right. And then now we've got Godzilla King of the Monsters.
So
and
of those three for you.
This is my favorite.
Okay, I'm the opposite.
Yeah, but... my score is going to be very similar to what Rotten Tomatoes is. But we'll get into that in a second. Walking out of this theater, let's start with DJ. How are you feeling about this movie?
Well,
we know how you feel, but just tell us.
So like, just to clarify some stuff, I love Godzilla. I love giant monster movies. I had all the Godzilla toys when I was a kid because there's a toy line where I had Godzilla and Mecha Ghidorah and Space Godzilla.
I know this is a different Godzilla, but did you ever watch the animated series based on the 98 movie with Ferris Bueller?
I tried to watch that.
It wasn't your cup of tea?
It was not my cup of tea.
I think it scared me as a kid.
Yeah. It was like, it was up there with the Men in Black animated series. Like the animation was similar where it's like,
they really tried.
Yeah, nah. but yeah, so I was like, I even think I had like violent action figures, and we talked about Batra. I showed you Batra when we were leaving the evil Mothra.
Yeah.
That I didn't realize until I showed you a picture how 90s Batra is.
Batra is basically a car with flames on the side.
Yeah, 100%. So the point is, I love these movies. I actually really enjoyed Kong Skull Island because that captured a lot of the fun energy that you can get with these giant monster movies. And I did enjoy the original Godzilla because that movie spent a lot of time giving you a sense of scale of Godzilla to the people around it and giving Godzilla himself weight. This movie has more monster battles, which on paper is cool. And then characters talk, and it's real bad. The writing in this movie is like a mid-tier G.I. Joe episode from the 80s.
You're not wrong.
Like it's like crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy how this is like a Transformers movie dumb. Not Bumblebee, Transformers movie level dumb movie.
Talking Transformers like 4?
Yeah. Like the battles are mostly more coherent than one of those movies.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I expected a lot from the first Godzilla movie, 2014, and from Kong Skull Island, and I was disappointed by both. For Godzilla, I was disappointed because while there weren't as many human characters that were focused on in this movie, in the first one, I'm like, wow, you sold me on Bryan Cranston, and then you didn't, spoilers, we didn't get him at all in that movie. He was not important whatsoever.
He was the Millie Bobby Brown of that movie.
Yeah, it was so disappointing. And then you got Aaron Taylor Johnson, and I'm like, and usually I like him and stuff. Yeah. Not in that movie.
You weren't feeling it in that
No,
one.
and like it'd be like, we're in Hawaii and we're about to get like Godzilla versus Big Bug, and you're like, whoa, and then cut, and then you see it on the TV, and you're like, did you know why people wanted to see this movie? And so going into this film, the trailers made me think that it's like we were about to see like a hurricane versus volcano. Like you're gonna get like earthquake versus blizzard. Like this is gonna be crazy. And I'm like, oh my god. And you get it, and that's all I wanted.
The monsters do fight.
And in Kong Skull Island, it has a similar problem that this movie has, where it's got so many people in it that I can't even follow what's happening when it comes to the people. Honestly, you don't have. I don't want to follow what's happening. So in this film, I got what I wanted and exactly what I didn't want at the same time. So I got more human characters that have no personalities. They have directions. They have what's this guy's thing? Science. Okay. And this woman, she does different science. And this guy, well, he's from the other movies, so he'll talk about those. And then we have this guy who's a photographer, but also knows the biology of monsters. Like, he's clearly, maybe he's probably a zoologist. This is a world where cryptozoology is like the forefront.
It is the most important thing. And you think in this universe, Bigfoot's just a really tiny kaiju? Like he's just the kind of like malnourished one.
We super don't care. Like he was bred smaller now. We don't care about him. That would have been really cool. Like,
he doesn't sleep in the hollow earth.
Like you saw like Seattle like open up and he grabs like the tower and he like runs towards Ghidorah with it. Oh my God, I would have written the movie better. All right. So we're getting characters I don't care about, but I did get a lot of the action that I did not get from the first Godzilla movie. There is a lot of kaiju action in Kong, but because I got so distracted by the huge cast of A-list, like AAA actors, I couldn't focus during the film. So I got a mix of the things that both good and bad.
I think the best version, people are always like, you don't care about the people. Well, you don't care about the people because they're not written well in these movies. The best version of this type of movie, giant monster movie with people trying to survive, and Sam's heard me make this argument too many times, is Jurassic Park. You know what I mean? And part of what makes Jurassic Park works is, one, you actually like the people. Two, there's a small amount of people, and the premise is simple. Scientists go to the island to see if it works. Spoilers, it doesn't. They need to escape. Right? So that's all you need to do. You need to put the people in the situation with the monster and then have them escape the monster, and maybe they fight another monster. That's it. This one you got the good guy science. You've got Millie Bobby Brown, who is, despite what the trailers tell you, is not the main focus of this movie.
Nope.
It's surprisingly Kyle Chandler, which I don't think was even actually in any of the trailers. Anyway, him and Vera Farmiga, they have issues, and Millie Bobby Brown's in the middle, and one parent is on the good guy scientist side, and they all want one set of things, and then there's the bad guy scientist side, and then they want to do something else with the monsters, and then all the monsters have... It's already way too complicated. It's way too complicated.
There's big teams of people. It's not like your classic, like, for example, X-Men movie where you have 3 and 3, and all of a sudden some good guys go bad, some bad guys go good. No. There's like each team's got like 20 plus people, and they're all talking, and they're all important, and they all have names, and it's so hard to keep track about, like, you get the gist, whatever. They try to come up with a reason in this movie for why more monsters should be running around on the planet. And why should? Because for some reason, people have a call with how these monsters come back and start running around.
Because of bioacoustics. And if you think, like, a lot of these movies have like their one like dumb science thing, this has like 2 or 3 at least.
There's like a certain part where an actor from the previous Godzilla movie shows up on a Skype call and he's like, we're gonna nuke them with big bomb. You better get your asses out of here. and then you're like, wait, what? And then it doesn't matter.
And the nature of the bomb doesn't really make sense if you think about it. But that's, you know what? I think that technically counts as a spoiler.
No, I think we're fine.
Here's the argument I'll make. I remember with the first Godzilla, because of the build up to that final showdown, and when Godzilla's thrown down with the Muto and he does this nuclear breath down its throat. It's like, whoa. I was so amped. In this movie, by the end, I was like, all right, we get it. This is like the 3rd time we've seen Godzilla and Ghidorah fight. I get the gist of it. And it's a bummer because Ghidorah is so cool, and Rhodan's so cool, and Mothra is so cool. And don't get too excited about Rhodan or Mothra because they don't factor in the movie that much.
No, not at all.
And so like there's one fight where it's like, oh, a new monster. Oh, he's gonna throw down with Ghidorah. Ghidorah lightens to his chest, and it's over. And it's like, what is this? What's even happening?
Now for me, I got exactly what I wanted from these fights. They are Transformers level. It's like, what's this one? It's Megatron, but he's got more wings this time. That's exactly what that's how this movie functions, and we keep finding out about more Transformers that are hidden under the earth.
And some of them look pretty cool.
They do. There's some monsters in this movie that are original creations, as far as we can tell. As far as we can tell, based on like quick research, because they do reveal that there are 17 Titans. Hidden under the earth, and you find out that some are not hidden that deep, and they are hidden about as deep as your basement. And
they're literally right there. How did we not stumble across them earlier? But you know.
And also, there's a lot of loose conversation about Kong, as if it were like
he gets name dropped a lot.
He does.
Yeah.
There's
definitely a movie coming out next summer where Godzilla fights Kong, in case you were wondering.
There's a lot of heavy hinting to Kong being a part of this. But that being said, it's kind of like I know our opinions were different from a majority of reviewers and audience members when it came to the second Pacific Rim movie that came out last year, where we were, I think, you can correct me. We were fine with it.
Yes.
Like it was fun. But so dumb.
Yeah.
That's what this was for me. It was exactly that, where it's like these are equal movies. I think the actions in this is better than that movie.
Yes.
Not by a lot, but it's similar problem where you're chock full of actors that it doesn't matter. All their job is in this movie is to give out information. And all of a sudden, this movie, I will credit it with this, that it tries to take a lot of the lure from the original Godzilla movies and add it in to the monsters that are appearing on screen and future creatures.
And even then, like, if you don't, Western artists might, like, Mothra has her own series of movies, and they incorporate elements from those movies in there. Like, Rodan, I think, has at least one of his own movies. You know what I mean? Like, these creatures, I mean, they are their own connected universe, and they incorporate some of that, which is cool.
It is cool, and a lot of people have to do heavy lifting, and there's sometimes like Easter eggs in the back, so keep your eyes open for stuff like that if you're vaguely aware or interested in seeing stuff like that. But at the end of the day, this movie is very messy, and I think that's like the nicest way I can say it. That if you want a kind of like, you grab 2 beers with your buddies and you go and watch a fun, dumb fighting movie, this is it. I think we talked about this before the movie started, that the trailer houses that cut these trailers deserve their own awards.
They deserve because that was actually, we like to give our pros and our cons. One of my pros is the trailers for this movie,
which is a bummer. That's a pro.
Because whoever edited, remember the original Godzilla trailer, and they're using that track from 2001, A Space Odyssey. These trailers had a similar vibe where it gives you this feeling of like something epic and otherworldly, and then you get the exact movie you would think a big Hollywood studio would put out of a Godzilla movie. It's 100% what you think. It's not unique or transcendent or anything like that. It's just a big dumb monster movie. You know, like, what? Seriously, the guys that do these trailers are just something special, man.
The next level.
Yeah.
And I think it would be fair for us to warn you that those trailers are. An A+ in this movie is nowhere near that. But I'll watch that trailer over and over again because it is absolutely beautiful. And
it's like the Man of Steel trailer.
Oh my god,
the Man of Steel trailer is so good.
One of the best trailers of all time. And
that trailer is
so
good.
We should do a retro review of that movie just to revisit now, because I thought I liked that movie and rewatched it recently, and my opinions have changed. But let's boil it down to the positives that I have specifically. I'll say the monsters look cool. Now that, I don't know who to credit for that specifically, because there are there's a lot of heavy lifting that the studio that made this movie, like Legendary and Warner Brothers, they had to do to bring these characters to life in a way that looks different from people in costumes or puppets or what have you. And I think they did a very good job. And the world, even though it's unbelievably hellish if you think about that, there's like 17 of these things that are city-sized monsters running around. It looks cool. So from the monsters to the world building that they did in this film, I thought that was interesting. Not specifically the mechanics, because when you get into that, that's when the movie starts to get dumb. Like how there's some twists about some monsters where you're like, that everyone accepts like it.
There is one. There is one when we start getting into Ghidorah's backstory. They're like, this defies all logic, and Godzilla doesn't. Like, what do you mean?
Like, Mothra's a big bug. Why is Ghidorah the one that's
really weirding you out?
No one can wrap their brains around what he can do. Atomic breath is coming out of Godzilla. Be worried about that. And I'll also say the scale, because the scale, I think, was, I'll agree with you that in Godzilla 2014, it's a little bit more impressive. Because it just
gives you a better sense of, like, people compared to this. Like, there's stuff that, like, Godzilla will go underwater right next to people, and it's just a little sprinkle on their face, and you're like,
yeah,
it's a giant, you just dropped a building under the ocean. Like, what?
This should be bigger. But in this movie, I'll say the scale and the visuals are really impressive. We have an image of Ghidorah and Godzilla across from each other, like staring each other down. Yeah. This is the first time they see each other in the movie. And whenever Ghidorah, since being like a lightning luck dragon, you rub his belly, you get 3 wishes. When he does like his
if you get close enough.
If you get close enough and you're nice to him. When he does his like wings out, lightning strikes, super cool. Yeah. As cool as it could be in a movie like this. Yeah. That's the best I can say. Those are my positives, and those are my reasons if you wanted to see this movie in theaters.
What's crazy? That scene that we just threw that asset of, they put a teaser of that in front of, was it Endgame when we saw it?
Because it was IMAX,
and it was edited differently, and it was better in that teaser than it is in the actual movie.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Because when I watched that, I was like...
It was like, whoa! Also, I gotta say, I think this is a pretty good... We're transitioning to negatives. I will say my positive trailer, 100%. Also, I agree with your positives. 2, I will say is a good gauge of this movie because again, like about 20 minutes in, I'm like, oh, this is 100% not just a child's movie, which is fine because as a kid, I probably would have really dug it. That said, it's PG-13 and they get their one F-bomb and it's like, oh, you don't know that this is a child's movie because that felt crazy out of place. Like I could just see myself with my 5-year-olds and they're amped out of their minds and then that happens and I've got to explain to them what that word is. You know what I mean? Like this is a kid's movie. This is a kid's movie.
Like Transformers movies should be.
Should be.
Bumblebee is.
Bumblebee is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bumblebee is.
And Bumblebee is great when you compare it to the other Transformers movies.
Yeah. And so moving to my negatives, I'll say the people. I'll say the actors do the best that they can with what they got.
Because this is a good cast.
It is a really good cast. I will say personal favorite, Tomas Middleditch. He's a funny guy, and he actually had some funny jokes. Also, pretty sure the cabin that they're in a beginning scene of the movie is a cabin from Endgame. But, you can go ahead and you verify that for me. It looks exactly the same. And my other negative is when it comes to the story, the people trying to validate why certain events take place. Just throughout the whole thing. Like any plan anyone has is pretty stupid. Yeah. Like we were giggling hard. Like and also
our theater, there were a lot of unintentional laughs.
There, like the world building they do they do a lot of explaining for like how these things eat, like what were they like before present day, like how did other cultures and like.
Which
some of it's fun, and some of it's just straight up like this makes absolutely it makes zero sense.
And also, like when you think about it, interacting with other cultures in the past, like comparatively recent past, like Roman times or whatever. What?
Yeah.
When this was a Roman, what do you mean that this was like feudal Japan? Godzilla was running around. Are you what? And we're just now figuring this out. No, that's not how. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like sometimes they throw out like maybe pyramid times.
Yeah.
And that's like a light maybe.
Yeah.
Some of it's way sooner.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, so I'll give it the story and the people are my big negatives. I will throw one more positive in there. I enjoy the action when it comes to like how do you make Ghidorah and Godzilla fight? Like it wasn't exactly what I thought, but this is the best version of what I think you could have done.
Yeah. With that. The whole final set piece is people in a car driving around. There they are. There's Godzilla and Ghidorah. They're over there. What? I don't care about the people in the car driving around. But Godzilla's going. All right, I did a little bit of a spoiler. Sure. Sure. Sorry about that. So I just want to clarify that there were enough pretty images in this movie to cut a cool trailer, because I think my grade's going to be higher than people expect it to be.
I think it's good. Yeah, when you say that, it sounds like it might be higher.
Because what do we want to? Are we ready for that?
Oh, we're ready to rate it. Okay. I was thinking out of 17.
Yes.
In city-sized monsters hiding in plain sight. Also, this is going to give weird fuel to like conspiracy theorists online.
I don't think Hollow Earth is like a conspiracy theory, but every time they bring it up, it feels like it is, and I'm like, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
It feels a little icky.
Yeah.
But yeah, out of 17, I'd give it. I'll say my rating first.
Yeah.
A C minus.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
C minus. It's actually a really positive C minus. Like you're passing this class with a C minus.
Yeah.
And that's only elevated because I actually really enjoyed the action for what it was.
Yeah.
But everything else bogs it down so much that if I wasn't smiling the whole time, there was a big like, atomic breath coming. Like,
So wait, hold on. If this is a C minus, what did you give Kong? Because I don't remember being that low at the time.
C minus probably,
Okay.
or low. Actually, I'd give it like a D.
I think you should rewatch Kong.
I really.
I think you've got it. I think you've got an image of your brain in your brain, and I think if you revisit it, you'd enjoy it more.
I'm gonna be disappointed because I already knew my expectations for this movie, and they were gonna be low.
Yeah.
And it did a little bit more, so I got C minus. Kong, I felt like I was the only positive person going into that movie. I was like, this is gonna be great.
Yeah.
And then it didn't do that for me. Great for people who like that movie.
Yeah.
So with that, 17 C minus, easy number 11.
11. I'll give it a C minus as well.
Weird.
Yeah.
And why?
Just because it's again like I like the monster. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. But it's not as bad as like the fighting in it is more coherent than a Transformers movie.
Mm-hmm. In this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you that.
So that makes it more than like, so that's why I needed to clarify because I think I'm coming across more negative because I really like these types of movies as far as like you think about like nostalgia and stuff like this type of stuff means a lot to me. And so my critique is weighted with those expectations, even though there are elements of the movie that aren't a train wreck. And I am excited for Godzilla and Kong, mostly because I like the director that's doing it.
Yeah. Watching this movie, I have many questions.
Yeah, how is Kong gonna do any? Even if you make him bigger, that's not even that's just the tip of the iceberg of what is Kong supposed to do against Godzilla.
My pitch: give him a beret, give him a big Tommy gun.
Yeah.
All right.
Skyscraper size. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Skyscraper size.
Dude, the best thing they could do is if like Kong goes up, like again. Let's go with a big tower, whatever, like Empire State Building, right? So you're spinning it. He puts his hand in, doom. He pulls out a pipe, and you're like, whoa, what's that? And he turns it, and it's like, no, Monarch built a big gun in there that was meant to shoot aliens, but in this,
boom. Yeah. I'm into that. Also, you could do the classic Hulk thing where Hulk takes a car and somehow makes gloves out of it.
Yeah.
How does that work?
I don't even know what
He takes buildings and he makes boxing gloves.
Takes Madison Square Garden. Doom. Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait because that's all I want. Because I know you can't. Sorry, no offense. We can't. We just don't have. We don't have enough time to make these movies what we think they're going to be.
Yeah.
So I just want fighting. That's it. If you want that, you'll enjoy it. Hopefully. There you go. There's the caveat for you. Let us know what you thought in the comments down below. Also, how would you rate the 3 movies we've received so far from this monster universe? And what are your expectations for Kong versus Godzilla? Let's hear your pitches because, I mean, I have mine. Big building-sized Tommy gun.
Yes.
Or a Gatling gun. Excuse me. But yes, let us know. And also make sure you subscribe and like this video. You could do a Tommy gun,
too. He has a fedora. And
he's
a gangster.
Big
King
cigar.
Kong.
See? There's a lot of pitches here.
There's a lot of things you could do.
I'm at Sam Basher everywhere that matters.
At DJ Talks Trash.
And make sure you check out Might Be Social. That's Twitter and Instagram for all of our updates for new videos. And patreon.com/onlystupidanswers for early access to reviews like this. And until next time, gang, we'll see you then.